Welcome to We Geek Podcast. Today is Wednesday, June 24th, and as always, I'm Adam, and I'm here joined with my good friend Logan.
Hello.
What's up? And, yeah, man, how's your week been?
Been good. You know, we had E3 last week, and I stayed on a high from that for a while, and went and saw Jurassic World, and been playing a lot of The Witcher. Not getting anywhere really, sideways I think a lot, but like, you fall down, like you get, what is it, like the Bloody Baron quest, like right at the beginning, still not done with that. I've done so much, still not done with that.
Right, yeah, that's one of my favorite quest lines in there, and it branches off into so many directions.
Yeah.
And, this is the first time I think I'll say where maybe too much is too much, but then, the way I think of this is going to be that game where I can always kind of go back to. That game where all year long I can kind of go back and chip away a little bit, chip away a little bit, chip away a little bit, go play some, and we'll get into it, the Arkham Knight, go play maybe, because I got some Tomb Raider, go play something else, and then come back to that and chip away a little bit and chip away a little bit. But holy crap, is it big.
Yeah, it's huge. Once you really start looking at, okay, I'm on this giant map, and then of course, you zoom out to see the rest of the map, and you're like, oh, this is one area on this mammoth continent.
Yeah, it's massive. It's overwhelming at first.
Yeah, a little bit. I'd say.
Yeah, but I love it. It took a little bit of getting used to, but after about a week or so, I was hooked. One of my buddies, and I'll name drop him. He's my friend Adam. He called my name brother. But yeah, he got it, and he was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. He really wanted to get ESO. And Elder Scrolls Online, and I was like, I know how much you like Skyrim, but I don't think you'll like an MMO, because you've never played an MMO, and it's not the same kind of single player story driven game, and he was like, I don't know. He finally picked up The Witcher, and it was, he did the whole White Orchid part, Orchid, or I'm mispronouncing it, and he was like, I don't know, and then a day or two later, he was like, all right, I'm hooked, I'm in, I can't stop. He's like, it's becoming a problem. He's got a lot, he works his ass off, he works 80 hours a week, and he's like, oh man, I can see this chipping away, and I can't let that happen. And I'm like, yeah, you gotta prioritize, but man, he's enjoying it, and I'm glad. There's a lot coming out right now, and so I was like, hold off on ESO. That you can always get that later. And,
yeah, we have hit a weird bump all of a sudden. It's kind of, because usually we only have maybe one or two coming out in the summer, but I mean now we've got two, arguably three, in the same month? Not even.
Oh yeah, and this is what happened, because all these games were supposed to come out, holiday last year.
Yeah.
And then they were bumped to the beginning of the year, and then they were bumped again. And I'm all for giving games enough time to be made correctly. So it doesn't matter really much to me, but yeah, this is that kind of. It used to be where no games were released at this time of year. It's all Christmas time, and it seems that. Maybe not even by choice, but these studios are pushing them a little bit. Probably around this time next year we'll get Uncharted, I'm thinking. Games like that.
I think Uncharted is going to be more like March.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm
down
for that. And it's kind of, we were kind of talking about E3, how it was weird because there wasn't any really first party games coming out this Christmas, but there's a lot of third party. Sony's kind of riding on that, and I think there's enough to make me happy. I don't want to go broke here. We got Fallout, which is going to be a huge chunk. We got Battlefront, Fallout, and I'm actually kind of looking forward to replaying the Uncharted Ultimate Collection thingy again. There you go. Yeah. It's like going back and watching an old, Indiana Jones movie or something. You've seen it, but you're like, oh, that's a lot of fun, So, all right, so glad you had a good week. Mine's been busy too. I've just been Nothing but working. I'm going to the dentist at the end of the week, so it's something to look forward to. And yeah, so now I've been playing, Witcher like you. I've dipped a little bit more into ESO, which I've been enjoying, and of course today Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I had work, but before and after, whew. But we'll get a little bit of that later.
Yeah.
I don't know how far you are in it.
Not. I'll go with not very.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not going to, of course, spoil or anything, and we'll talk about it towards the end. I'm sure next week and the week after we'll get a little bit more deep into Dark Knight. But yeah. So I mean, this show, it's going to be the same kind of thing. We're going to talk about movies, TV, comics. There isn't that much in comics or TV, so it might be a little shorter week. So we're not going to have our big, giant 3-hour episode or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we got, it's more movie heavy, and then we'll kind of get into like more deeper Witcher stuff. Then we'll kind of do like our full spoiler Jurassic World talk, and then we'll get a little bit into the Dark Knight at the end, or we'll do Dark Knight before Jurassic World.
Yeah, because Jurassic World's going to be waste, but like we're going to spoil the hell out of that.
Exactly, yeah. So it'll be like comics and then Jurassic World, because comics you can't really talk about without spoiling. So
yeah.
But yeah, man. They like I said, there hasn't been much video game news. Because it all came out last week.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
No, I was just like everything big was last week, and I'm sure there's stuff from E3 that people are like, hey, we saw this, or hey, we played this, that I've completely missed any and all impressions of.
Right. Let's get into video games, Joel. Let's knock that out real fast. I did see a few things that slipped through.
Okay.
We basically got confirmed that Xbox is doing the terabyte. 1 terabyte hard drive. Same with the PlayStation. And I noticed that with the PlayStation, it actually has a different model. So I'm sure it will look exactly the same. But they said it's supposed to be 10% lighter and 8% more efficient. So
interesting.
Yeah, they didn't say a price, which I thought was super interesting. It said, basically your retailer will let you know.
Well, because they have to announce the price drop for the current model first.
Right,
yeah. It's going to come out at this price point, and they're going to knock, like $50 or something off of what it is now. You
would hope. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm actually personally getting a 2 terabyte hard drive. Yeah. After Dark Knight, it's like, okay, I had to delete something. I forgot what I had to delete, and I kind of wish I didn't. I basically went through my list of like, what have I not played in forever that I'm not going to get to anytime soon.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was. I think it might have been Shadows of Mordor, but I kind of didn't want to delete it, but I had to. So it's one of those things like, once I get the 2 terabyte hard drive in there, I won't have to think about that for at least a year or two.
There you go.
Yeah. And, it's a lot of the indie games I've deleted too. I'm like, dang it, I kind of wanted to jump in and out of those, but, but yeah, so yeah, once I get that installed, I think I'll be pretty happy. I'm gonna be nervous trying to swap out the hard drives.
Yeah, that's. Let me know how that goes. That's something like I've always wanted to look into, but yeah, I'm the same way. Like I'm just so afraid I'm gonna screw something up big time.
Exactly. That's the last thing I want to do is start over on The Witcher, or get deep into Batman and have to start over. So,
what you can do, like the thing is, the PlayStation has an easy option to copy save data to like a USB drive. You just like a little flash drive. Just plug it in, and it has this really good. Because I've backed up all my save data.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. That's the first thing I'm going to be doing is backing up the save data to, I have like a 32 gigabyte flash drive, so I should be just fine.
Oh my God, yes.
yeah, and then I'll, do the switch over, and, it'll be nice to see, oh, okay, all my games are loaded and I still have a lot of room left.
There you go.
And yeah, I have to do it. I figured it's time. I've gotten so many on there now. But I thought, I'm surprised this wasn't announced at E3. You would think this would be something both parties would be like, hey, by the way, the new models are going to be 1 terabyte and it's the same price, and we're dropping the price $50 if you want to get the cheaper, not cheaper, but the less, gigabytes, the 500 or whatever.
The current model, yeah.
Right, that would have been something that, the common person would have been like, 50, the PlayStation's $50 less. And let's be honest, if you don't have one of these systems yet, you're probably a casual gamer. I mean, but then I guess you're probably on a budget too. You're not a super hardcore gamer that needed the system, within the first few years.
Yeah.
Right around this time is actually the time where you have to make the jump from the 360 or PS3 because the newer games are not coming out on the older ones.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
It's kind of that sweet spot where it's like, hey, they see all these games that you can't play on anymore. Let's jump over. By the way, here's a new system and it's $50 cheaper.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so there was some other video game news. I saw that Activision is thinking about doing remasters for the Call of Duty series. What do you think about that?
Well, but I mean, here's the thing. Like, it's the first Modern Warfare and later. And I mean, look,
okay.
Here's my thing. I don't care.
Right.
That's my thing. Like, I'm not a Call of Duty fan, really. Like, I'll play them and I'll enjoy them. The last couple, Black Ops 2 was especially, like, I thought that was pretty good. Help me out here. What was the one that just came out?
The Advanced Warfare?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The new Call of Duty, I think, looks pretty cool.
Call of Duty 3 Black Ops 3 looks okay, but like
I think I'm actually going to get that one.
Okay. But I mean, like Advanced Warfare, I was like, okay, that was kind of neat, but like I'm a story guy. I can't stand Call of Duty's multiplayer. I haven't since it really became a thing. It's just because it's not my speed. It's not
right.
It's not my favorite kind of multiplayer. I'll play shooter multiplayer. I don't know, I'm just not crazy about it. I loved Battlefield. I played Bad Company 2's multiplayer. I can't even tell you how long. Like, I loved it. I was terrible at it, but I loved playing it.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, I'm with you. I'm not into multiplayer Call of Duty. I think the mechanics are just about as sound as you could get when it comes to the shooting, but it's just not my style of game.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather pour 200 hours into The Witcher and take my time than play, I don't know, just first-person shooters in general just kind of aren't my thing. So, but that looked fun, if that makes sense. Like, when I saw the new one, I was like, oh my god, that looks sick. Like, he's doing the Force, he's making the guy, throw up, and then he's tossing a tank around. I don't know, it looked crazy. But when I saw this, I thought, has it really been that long since, Modern Warfare? And it really has.
Has it really? Well, yeah, my god, it's been, 10 years?
Yeah, it has. So, we're getting, Halo remakes and stuff like that. And
well,
Gears
but,
of War, why not?
The Halo one I understand, because the first Halo came out, back in the Stone Age, practically. I mean,
Right.
But like, I don't... Look, as long as it's not like, hey, we're going to remake Modern Warfare 2, like, I would... seriously, I would hit somebody if they announced that.
Right, and I think that's the one of my buddies still plays, who's one of my old roommates, and that was the one he always played for some reason, and
that was the one that really, I mean, Modern Warfare did a lot to kind of reestablish Call of Duty as like a much more like solid, bankable franchise, but Modern Warfare 2 was the one that really put it on the map. That was the one that started breaking records and really kind of kicked off sort of the arms race of first-person shooters for a while.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. And then you're absolutely right. He loved it. So, I mean, why not? We're getting God of War remastered, and we're getting all these games. You know what game that I would love on the PlayStation 4 or Xbox One is South Park Stick of Truth.
Yeah, I'll take that. And I mean, I would just take a port of that. They don't need to remaster it or add. No, I'll take a port of it. Absolutely.
Totally. That's got to be coming before the new one. I'm thinking that would be cool because it was such a shame. It was like that came out at the time I got the PlayStation 4 and I didn't have a PlayStation 3, and I got it on the computer, but it's not the same sitting on your living room couch playing it than it is sitting at your computer. It's not the same at all. So, but yeah, that's one game I would love to get ported over.
Yeah, no, and just because it was awesome. Stick of Truth was fantastic.
Yeah,
it really
definitely
was.
Yeah, I can't wait for the new one. Let's see here. We went over I thought this was an interesting, statistic, and I guess it's just, a lot of systems in Japan just aren't doing good in general, and I didn't realize how bad Xbox One was doing. And I saw this basically it was an article off Bleeding Cool that said the PlayStation 3 is outselling the Xbox One 26-1.
And just to reiterate, the PlayStation 3 is outselling. That was the part that blew my mind. That it was the last gen console.
Right, exactly. That doesn't make any sense to me. I guess, I don't understand that. I mean, I knew Xbox wasn't doing good in Japan, but I didn't know it was that bad.
Apparently.
Yeah, and to me that's crazy. It's I mean, there's not really much more to that story. It's just one
of those like really bizarre facts, because it is, man. I mean, that's
right.
Weird.
Yeah, like it's like I mean that's about as dead as you could get in a country. Vita's outselling it, which makes no sense. But I guess, it's actually, never mind. Vita is really big, it has a lot of JRPGs and indie titles and stuff. So, man, yeah, no, it's getting around that time. Probably the next year or so, I'll probably, I think I'll get a Wii first, the Wii U, before I get the Xbox. But I'm starting to see a lot of good first-party titles that are coming out on it that might make me, splurge and get it someday. But, definitely a lot more now than it was before, especially with all the titles coming out this year.
Well, and I mean, that's kind of, it almost behooves people to wait until the price drop, because by then you've got a library to choose from.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. And, I think, any way you put it, if you have an Xbox or if you have a PlayStation right now, it's a good time to have these consoles. Either one you have. It's great if you can afford both of them. But I live in the real world where I can't really even consider that right now. But it's definitely looking a lot better. But yeah. So anyway, I thought that was a weird stat. Let's see here. I also saw that Microsoft says that Phantom Dust isn't canceled, but no one's working on it.
Yeah, which is a bad statement to make. You should just kind of say it's a project still in development. Period. End of statement.
Did you ever play the Phantom Dust game? It was on the original Xbox, right?
Yeah. This was I probably, but right, I don't remember anything I played on the original Xbox besides Halo and
Fable.
I didn't even play Fable. I'm not a Fable person.
Oh, really? I played the original Fable on it.
Like Gauntlet. There was a Gauntlet Legends for it, I think, and I played that. I can't remember anything else I played. I really can't.
I'm trying to think. I played Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
That for sure. There was a few of them. My brother in my house, my brother had the Xbox. My older brother had the Xbox, and I had the PlayStation 2. And of course, I had the better system. No, I'm just kidding. But I did. I really did. I loved, he realized it after a while. He was like, oh wow, your library was just so much bigger and vast. It was so different, different kind of games I could play on it. But yeah, and his with the Xbox, so I didn't really have it to, go, I'm going to go to the store and buy a game. I never thought to buy an Xbox game. It was only kind of like what he got.
Yeah.
I got to try. So he had actually, I take that back, because I did buy the Star Wars one because there was no way I was not going to play that game. But yeah, so I don't know. I thought that was a weird one too. I guess kind of to round out the video game news, I saw that, speaking of Arkham Knight, that it's having a rough time on the PC.
I heard something about that, but I didn't read the article about it. Fill me in a little on what's going on.
Well, apparently they ported it out. They ported it out to 12 people. To make the port, Rocksteady, and it's bad. Like with PC, you imagine it's going to be at 60 frames per second. It's going to be the best, of the best of all three, for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC.
Sure,
that it's going to outperform everything. And I hate to say this, but if you got it on the console, you got lucky. They're having some issues too, of course, with downloading it and whatnot, but it's almost unplayable on the PC at this point. So, so anyone that got it off Steam, I know a few of my friends are just like, it's not even playable. They immediately asked for a refund, and they got it because of their the new system. But yeah, here, let me see if I can bring up the.
Yeah, I mean, I know I had some issues downloading it and everything, but that was partly my own fault because I forgot that the game data for this is like 50 gigs.
Yeah,
it's a monster of a download. So it took pretty much all night to download.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. God, that must be hell on PC.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. I'm continuing to it. Basically, and this is officially from Rocksteady. It says, "Hi all. We are aware of some users are reporting performance issues on the PC version of Batman Arkham Knight. This is something Rocksteady takes very seriously. We are working closely with our external PC development partner to make sure these issues get resolved as quickly as possible. We'll update the thread." So basically, yeah, that doesn't say much, but yeah, from one article I read before, there was a total of 12 people working on the port. And it doesn't seem like they had any quality control, because I was looking at a video of someone playing it, and it is and they're playing it on like this thing with a Titan and all this crazy, there's like an $800 graphics card and stuff like that, and it's just choppy. Batman goes to fly off the building and it stops. And then it stops, and it goes and it stops, and it goes and it stops. And I was like, it was like someone was playing and pausing a video. And yeah, I was like, that sucks, because I've had nothing but a good time. I got we've talked about this before. I'm doing the all digital now, so it's been downloading this week pretty much. It stopped, and it was my fault because I ran out of room, so I went and deleted a whole bunch of stuff. But this was yesterday, so it was well before it came out.
Yeah.
I went and deleted it, and all of a sudden it downloaded the game, it downloaded all the story packs, it even downloaded the day one patch. And so when midnight hit, bam, I was in, and I was playing the game. And I read this morning, and I was like, that sucks. It's usually PC, the PC fanboys just, love how great there's, and they laugh at us peons that play the console.
And to be fair, they've got a lot to lord over, really. I'm not a PC person, but they do have, just by the nature of it being constantly upgradable, they have a better platform for it.
Oh yeah, and I'm a PC gamer myself too. I kind of stick to like the MMOs and stuff like that, because that's the kind of experience you usually can't get on consoles. Now you kind of can with stuff like ESO, but it's different. I also played a lot of PC games that are a few years old, because my PC I couldn't play the new Arkham Knight game on I couldn't play Witcher on my. I probably could play Witcher on my PC with all the graphics turned off, but I can play I can play World of Warcraft, and I can play games that came out like I could do Far Cry 4, I could do stuff like that, but nothing right now. And who knows, I'll probably update my PC in a little bit, but I usually use my PC now for more like other things. Gaming is now all my kind of my PlayStation stuff. But I thought that was interesting, and it sucks. This comes down to, and what's getting a lot of news right now too is this studio was so focused on selling people $100 game. They wanted to get that $100 game out with it was like $40 for their DLC.
Yeah,
and
for the season pass. Yeah,
they couldn't release the game, just regular. They couldn't release it with how many issues have. So this is one of those things where like the pre-order nonsense of, I felt like a crazy person trying to chart out, what I was going to get if I just bought it on the PlayStation Store. And I'm just doing, and we talked about this before, I'm just doing that from now on anyway. I'm just doing the digital download. I do it beforehand because sometimes there is that extra thing, but we can't support stuff like this when it's just a broken game.
Yeah. I mean, that's my problem with it. It's like, look, I understand we live in a day and age of like day one DLC and exclusives and whatnot, but my thing, first of all, is enough with this day one patch nonsense. Because what that says to me is somebody decided getting this game out is more important than getting it out right. Even though this had been delayed, like they still it still wasn't enough time, more or less. Like, make it, finish it before it goes gold. Okay, like is that such a strange concept anymore? And
right. I mean, and see, as much as we give Nintendo a hard time, they actually put out quality stuff when it's ready to be released.
Yeah, hell, at least their games work.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just like their older games. We've talked about that time and time again. The Super Nintendo games, you could put it in. I could still put in Donkey Kong Country, and it's going to work beautifully every time I do it. Now, granted, those are older games; they're not as complex, but still,
not the
this
point.
day and age, you go put in the new Donkey Kong Country, and it's going to work beautifully. Even Nintendo to this day, they don't sit there and patch something every week unless it's, of course, Smash Brothers, but they're just tweaking things because it's a fighting game. This is just it's uncalled for, and I can't support stuff like that. Like, the stuff that I'm going to be starting to pre-order and showing, because that's kind of what it is. As much as people. We can be cynical about it, I guess, all we want and stuff, and I think I normally am when it comes to that stuff, but what I'm going to start doing is kind of just, speaking with my wallet. I'll pre-order stuff from, Naughty Dog, studios that I know take time and wait, and put out quality stuff. Rocksteady, they make great games. Like the first two Batmans, these two, the Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, some of the greatest games in the last 10 years, arguably. But this one, it's just now people are going to associate it with this nonsense that happened at the beginning of it. And so far, I'm having fun with it. I'm having a great time with it. But it just seems like they focused way too much on, you can, for $40 more, you can have some side missions and 6 packs of, Batman outfits.
Yeah, it's insanity. It's just, it's crazy.
Where, with Witcher, at least with The Witcher, they're offering free downloaded content. There's patches to the game. It had some hiccups when it first came out, but I think people gave it a little bit more of an okay because it wasn't trying to nickel and dime you the whole time.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, there's some legitimate issues, we're going to fix them. They weren't game-breaking. None of the things I played in The Witcher were game-breaking or that I read. I think there was like one quest that if you didn't do it, or if you didn't do it a certain way, something would happen, but they fixed that in 2 days. The PC doesn't look like it's going to be fixed for a while. So, yeah, I don't know, that sucks, but I guess I don't want to spend too much time on that. But yeah, so that's video games. There isn't much in TV, so we can kind of knock that out. I saw Hannibal was canceled. Is that a show that you watch?
It's not, and it's not for a lack of anything except time. Like it's on the list because I hear such good things, but it wasn't pulling the ratings. I mean, it's got a rabid fan base, but it's not a large enough fan base apparently.
Yeah, that's right in the same boat. It's one of those, like, we watch a lot of TV, and that was one of the shows that just fell under my radar. I heard a lot of people talk about it, but for some reason or another, it was around that time where a lot of, like, it's hard to explain. Like, that came out. Help me out. What's the one with the kid, the Psycho TV show?
Bates Motel.
Bates Motel came out, and I watched that, and I liked that. I didn't see the last season, but it was right around that time where we're getting a lot of these remakes of, like, horror shows or horror franchises brought to TV. It was that, it was Hannibal, and then there was another one. What was that? It wasn't a horror thing. It was Fargo. I never watched that, but I heard that one was good as well.
Yeah, and I've heard it's an anthology series too.
Right, yeah, so it's like, new characters, new story every season. That's another one that I want to go back and watch. But yeah, so that's a shame. I hear it's really good though. So who knows? We live in the day and age where Netflix is kind of that channel. I think everyone's kind of looking at right now to go, do you want to save it? I'm sure there's people behind the scenes going.
Oh, I have no doubt that they're pitching it to everybody, not just like Netflix, but also, probably I would imagine they're going hard at Hulu. More than anything.
Hey, maybe even Yahoo. I still haven't seen the Community last season, but that a lot of these channels are are these new avenues to do things. So who knows? I mean, how long did it run? It was like what 2013 or
wait,
12?
what? Hannibal?
Hannibal, yeah. Okay, so it's 3 seasons.
3 seasons, yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah. Oh, Lawrence Fishburne's in it. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like him. Yeah, I might actually give it sucks to say that. I might give it a chance now, no. But yeah, speaking of TV, I guess we can get into it for just a moment. I started watching the X-Files again.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I tried that a couple months ago and then just kind of forgot.
Yeah. So, I mean, trying to, I just, I get burnt out on, I'll sit and play a video game or something, or, when I'm not, because I'm trying to save my money and not go out, not go out. And my friends are like, hey, we're doing this, we're going here, I'm just like, I really need to save my money, so I've been staying in a lot more lately, and video games sometimes just a little too much. Like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, and I need something else to kind of relax and chill with. And there's nothing on television anymore, no Game of Thrones or anything. So I thought, okay, I'll start up Netflix, and I started up the X-Files, and I'm about I think like episode 11 into the X-Files. Now, granted, I only started at like 9 because I watched the first 8 like a year or so ago, so they were still kind of in my memory.
Yeah.
So I've only watched a few of them lately, but I want to kind of go through that season now that we have the new it's coming back. So I was like, that was one show where I always was like, I get it, everyone gets it. It's these 2 FBI agents. Mulder's really all, he wants to believe, where Scully is like are you sure it's aliens? Because I don't, it's probably not, the skeptical person. And then I think later on towards the end of the show, it's just they believe, you know what I mean? But I never really saw that organically happen. I never saw the story play out. As a kid, I only saw an episode here, an episode there, and you could get it because they are very episodic.
Right.
Or that's not the right word, but they're their own, every episode's its own little story. So this day and age, I would not like that in a show. But back then it was good because I was a kid and I didn't catch everything. So, so I'm running through that. So that's what I've been doing for my TV since. The only other thing on that I've been watching actually is Halt and Catch Fire. Have you seen any of that?
I have tried, and it's Mad Men for me all over again. Like I'm so not interested.
Yeah, it's very much Mad Men, and that's probably the best answer you could give for that, because I don't blame you for not. That it took me a while to get into it, but for some reason, just like Mad Men, something hooked me, and I can't even tell you what did, but it got me interested. It does drag its feet way too much, and so but it's the only thing where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to on demand. There's nothing I'm interested in. Oh well, I'll give this a chance. I actually want to watch The Newsroom because I know that that ended.
Yeah, it had, like 2-3 seasons, I think?
Yeah. I heard it was really good. So that's one show I might, it was 3 seasons long. That's one show I might go back and watch. It has that famous opening scene everyone shared on Facebook with their friends and family, and they suddenly just got into politics.
Right.
So, but I think that opening thing is probably what made it a pilot, to begin with. So I like stuff like that. So I'm gonna I'll probably go back and watch that.
It's very Aaron Sorkin-y. Like anybody who's seen like any of the West Wing, just in terms of like tone and the style and the writing especially, it's like, oh, you know what you're getting. Or if you've seen The Social Network, like it's very kind of like tone wise and pace. That's what I was looking for. Pace wise, what you're in for.
Yeah, that's you nailed it. That's exactly what I've heard. So that's the show that just kind of everyone told me to watch. I never did, and now that we have this lull, that's probably what I'm going to watch. When does let me hear, Fear the Walking Dead come back? Because I was trying to think of like what shows are going to be starting soon, and okay, August. So that's a few months. So I'm kind of excited about that. And that will start before the Walking Dead show comes back on.
Well, they're not going to run them at the same time. That would defeat the purpose.
Exactly. So yeah, we're gonna get that. Then we're gonna get Walking Dead, and then they should kind of run, a few months between each other. But yeah. Well, one more thing for TV news.
Okay.
I saw that the Agent Carter showrunners are gonna be, and this kind of goes into comics. They're going to be doing the Captain Marvel comic. They're going to be writing.
Yeah, let me try and get these names here. Tara Butters and Michelle Fazekas.
Yep.
If I can get them right. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad to see Kelly Sue DeConnick leave because she's really what made Captain Marvel what it is right now.
Yeah, I only read a handful of issues of it, but that was always one that I was like, I need to read more of this because it's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely give it a read. Every issue that she's done of it has just been that I've read has been really good. There's a lot that I haven't read of it, but you can tell that everything she is right now. It's kind of what that is. Everything they're going for, even in the name of the movie, like it's all going to be, I imagine, like her run. And so it's kind of sad to see her go because I know she's a fan favorite for that. But we'll see what happens when they get the new creators on it. And yeah, so that I thought that was interesting. We got a lot of TV news, or I'm sorry, a lot of movie news.
Yeah.
You want to start with the first one?
Yeah, okay. Why not? From the people that brought us, the sequels to, like the Marine 8 or whatever they're up to now, like a lot of the WWE Studios stuff, it seems like.
The Miz?
yeah, like that production company that works with them. I think, if I remember right, because it's WWE Studios, but they have like I don't know, like the distributor or whatever that does like it's like everything they do is VOD. Like they did, like most people don't know there was a Jarhead 2 and 3.
What?
They're on like Scorpion King 5.
What?
Oh yeah. You got to check out the VOD market because some of these are masterpieces. They're just so. You're amazed they even got made. Like it's some of them are that bad. But Don Michael Paul, who directed Jarhead 2, is going to adapt a script from David H. Steinberg, who wrote American Pie 2. The script, of course, being a remake of Kindergarten Cop.
Wow.
A remake of every. I'll take a sequel. Give me a sequel to Kindergarten Cop. I'll watch the hell out of that. But a remake? Why?
Yeah, that's the thing. I could see Arnold doing a sequel to that movie very easily because he's kind of, with the new Terminator movie and he's becoming a movie star again.
Yeah.
I could see that, but a remake? Why? Yeah. So I imagine it's a remake coming to direct to video. That's This is the remake that no one asked for.
This is the remake that people actively didn't want.
No, not at all.
I mean, that's just
ridiculous.
Why can't we do Why can't we do a sequel? Well, because then we'd have to do 2 more. We know it's not a tumor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's great for one-liners, but other than that, what is?
Yeah, it's like it's goofy and it's silly and it's not a great movie by any stretch. But it has you can't. There's the difference between Kindergarten Cop and Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
We know they're both bad, but Kindergarten Cop has at least some kind of redeemable elements to it.
It has some heart to it.
Yeah.
That was I thought it was when we were kids when we saw it. Now it just makes no sense. Oh, you know what movie I saw that you told me to go see? It was actually really good and you were absolutely right. Project Almanac.
I told you, right? Like it's one of those that you watch and you think, "Oh my god, it's a teen found footage. Oh dear god, help me, it's high school kids." And it actually doesn't suck. Which surprised the hell out of me.
And there was so much because I've been to a lot of the last year or so. I've been to a lot of like festivals and shows and stuff like that. And my buddies are really huge into like EDM. I'm not so much, but it's fun to go with them and stuff. So when like halfway through the film, it's just like nothing but EDM. I'm like, who made this? Like, this looks like an MTV music video, and lo and behold, it was an MTV movie.
Yeah,
like it made total sense. And yeah, it was super interesting. It was a cool little found footage time travel story, and we talked about how the director is on the Power Rangers film,
and it makes perfect sense. Now that you've seen it, you understand. Like it's a perfect choice.
Yeah, it actually really is. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there. I thought it was really good, so thanks for letting me know. So yeah, if listeners, you've never seen Project Almanac and you come across it, it's $1 or something on Redbox or whatever, go get it because it's a good popcorn film.
Oh yeah, it's totally worth a cheap rental. Absolutely.
Yep. Oh yeah. Let's see here.
I really want to do this next one because
go ahead.
This amazed me. They're doing. Steve Stollier wrote a memoir. He used to be Groucho Marx's assistant, like towards the end of his life, and he wrote a memoir, and it was called Raised Eyebrows, and it had a subtitle that I can't remember, but they're making that into a movie, and it's being directed by the perfect choice for a legendary comedy figures biopic, Rob Zombie.
What?
Yeah. And look, and I had the same reaction, and then I remember listening back to him on what was he on? I think it was like his second appearance on the Nerdist podcast.
Okay.
And you listen to him talk about like how, horror is his thing and it's his niche and he's really good at it, but he does kind of want to branch out because you can hear he has a genuine love and respect and understanding for film in general.
Yeah.
And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, this isn't as bizarre a choice as I thought at first.
Right. Yeah, no, you're. This came out of left field.
Yeah,
I don't know. when I read that, I was like, "What?" I'm gonna have to have Logan explain this to me because, it's gonna
be interesting. Like you could make a Groucho Marx biopic and people would go see it anyway. But now you're like from the man who brought you The Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting choice.
Sure.
You know who I think I would love to see do a horror film just because of how obsessed they are with film in general is Quentin Tarantino.
Just do just a straight up horror film?
Right, yeah. I know he did the what do you call it? With the vampires?
Oh, I'm totally blanking. I can see it with like what was it like Kiefer Sutherland and like all those, right?
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh no, never mind, wrong one.
Yeah.
Lost. I was thinking of Lost Boys. My bad.
Right, yeah, and I mean, I guess you can kind of consider that horror, but I want it like traditional horror film with him. Yeah, so I don't know, but yeah, so Rob Zombie, I mean, he's not doing the Halloween movies anymore. Someone else is. I forget who it was. We talked about that about a week or so ago.
Yeah, we touched on that a little bit last week. Yeah, I think they tapped. Well, who did they tap? Like the guy who did the last few Saw movies, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can totally see that.
I'm one of those weird people who's like, I respect Carpenter's original Halloween and what it did at the time and why it was groundbreaking then. Mm-hmm. But I have to view it through that lens because it's not my kind of horror movie. I look at I understand Carpenter's film objectively is a better horror film than Zombies remake was. I'm never, I'm not going to get into that argument because I'm not going to argue it. But personally, I enjoyed Zombies remake more than Carpenter's original.
Yeah.
Which freaks people the hell out.
Yeah, I don't really have a dog in that fight. I wasn't a fan of either one of them, to be honest. I mean, the Halloween one, the music and the score and the setting, and it was creepy. But I'll be honest. When I was a kid, I much preferred the Jason Voorhees, the night.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. No, the reason I was thinking Crystal Lake for some reason, but yeah, the Friday the 13th, and there was like
because that's where they happened.
Right, yeah. exactly, and it was, I forgot which one it was. They all kind of run together for me, but for some reason, whenever it was like, it was Freddy and it was Nightmare. Wow, I almost said Nightmare Before Christmas. Nightmare on Elm Street. Whenever those come on, I wasn't really into them. Same with Halloween, but for some reason, I liked the Voorhees stuff. It was the Friday the 13th. I don't know why. I can't explain it. Just something about him wandering out of camp with a bunch. I think it was probably the naked teen thing.
Probably more that than anything. Yeah, sure.
I was like, oh, boobs. So, but I don't know why. I preferred that one, and they weren't really scary. They were just, as a kid, you were just like, I guess as a kid you were scared. I don't know. It was just like, oh my God, he's just chopped him in half, that kind of thing. Freddy's was always so whacked out, dreamland, whatever. I guess Halloween's probably the most down to earth one out of all of them.
Yeah, Halloween's the most grounded. But
most grounded, yeah.
Yeah, the Nightmare on Elm Street one's got, like, it was an interesting concept to do once, but then they realized real quick once they started doing sequels, they would have to just get weirder and crazier, and eventually it became cartoonish at a point.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, and I mean so did
Friday notwithstanding, sure. Like those got pretty ridiculous.
Maybe it was because just the thought of a guy in a hockey mask. He looked cool as hell. A guy in a hockey mask with the machete walking around killing people. Like, that could happen, So in my little head, I was like, oh my God, this. And, I live in Florida, so it didn't look that far off, Yeah, so I don't know why, but those are kind of the horror films that.
Yeah, fair enough.
And Alien, that
there we go.
Me out.
Yeah, that's a horror movie. That's terrifying as hell.
That and Jaws, oh my God. Especially, like I said, being in Florida with that Jaws movie, it was just like, nope, don't want to go in the water, can we not go to the beach? Oh man, but yeah, I don't want to get too real for a second, but there's been so many shark attacks on the coast.
On the 40th anniversary of Jaws, we've had a couple up here.
Yeah, it's like, don't go in the water right now, like, Nope. Staying and play video games. But yeah, so we got let's see here. We got Matthew Vaughn confirms he has plans for a prequel about Hit Girl and Big Daddy, followed by Kick-Ass 3.
Yes, indeed. Because Kick-Ass 2 wasn't disappointing enough, I guess.
Right, yeah, I liked the first one. The second one was
And to be fair, that was kind of his point. He did this interview with Yahoo Movies, and he kind of acknowledged, like, people didn't like the second one. And he didn't say whether they were right or wrong, really. He said, we would like to do a prequel to get away from that, so that people kind of forget about that, and then we can do Kick-Ass 3. And I'm like, that's refreshingly honest. It's like Channing Tatum in an interview today. He hated doing G.I. Joe. He absolutely despised it, but he said he was contractually obligated to do that movie, and he hated it. And I thought, man, that's bold to just come out and say, hey, this movie I was in that made like $300 and some million? I hated that thing, and I thought it sucked. Like that's.
Well, wasn't he? He wasn't in it for that long, right?
The first one he was, yeah.
Oh, okay, the first one. Yeah. Okay. I liked the second one a lot more with The Rock.
Well, because they took the first one so seriously. Mm-hmm. And then they realized, oh, that's not going to work.
Right. And they held the movie for like 6 months too.
Yeah.
They put it, that's what they did. They were going to release it, and they were like, no, let's put it in 3D. And then that's what they did.
And it took 6 months, and it killed them on merchandise. Because all the merch went out, and after, like, the shelves are stocked and everything, and they say, oh, we've got to convert this to 3D. It's not going to be out for, like, another 6 months or whatever it was. I thought it was like a year.
Right. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, I remember it being a while.
But it was just, I thought, man, that's, wow, okay.
Yeah, I remember it had one of the Wayans brothers in the first one, I think. Or am I way off?
You may well be. I don't really remember it all that well.
Yeah. Well, Kick-Ass, I mean, isn't Kick-Ass 3, wasn't it a prequel anyway?
No.
No, it took place okay.
It was a sequel. They did do a Hit Girl side. I don't know if it was a prequel comic or a side comic. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've read it, so I don't remember.
Yeah, it was okay, so Hit Girl was the prequel, and now it makes sense that they're doing that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I mean that those movies make money, so why not?
Not so much.
No, it didn't. I thought it did.
I don't think Kick-Ass 2 made all that much. I mean, you can double check me on this, but I don't think it made near what they expected it to. Certainly. But
and I'm sure they'll have to recast. Those actors are too big now. They're too, physically and star-wise. Don't you think?
Maybe.
What's her name? Chloe? I don't think she could do it. She's too old if they're doing a prequel. I mean, the first one, she was a tiny little kid. Now she's like an adult size. Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the movies kind of establish their own timeline anyway.
Okay.
To say, hey, these guys are actually kind of older, because, in the comics, she's 9.
Well, that's what I mean, if they do a prequel, right?
Well, that they'd obviously have to recast. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the part 3 makes sense if she was... I don't know. But that's interesting. Yeah, let's see here. Oh, this one, I was like, what?
I'd say, yeah, that's
terrible.
That's a pretty common reaction, it seems. Yeah, the first photos of filming for the new Ghostbusters movie are up, and you can see, Melissa McCarthy's in very much business attire, and Kristen Wiig is wearing something that wouldn't have been out of place in a late 80s hip hop video.
Right.
And it just looks, with no context at all, you look at this and you just go, wow, what?
Right. Yeah. It was weird. And out of context, I'm not gonna give it any crap, but it did look weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Yeah. It just. Yeah. I can't find it, but I forgot what she was wearing. It looked like one of them had paint on them.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just because it looked very 80s. We haven't established what time period it's in, have we?
I think it's modern day. I think it's supposed to be current day. I think. Now, don't quote me on that, because I'm not entirely sure.
See, I hate when it almost looks cartoonish then. If that's supposed to be no one would wear that outside and be taken seriously. That's, but yeah, I can't find it. But I remember looking at it that looks strange. They look like they're wearing costumes.
Yeah.
And not actual clothes that normal people wear, But
yeah,
okay.
It's not a great confidence booster out of the gate here.
No, yeah. It's good to see that they're shooting it. It's not going to be something crazy late in the future. But yeah. I saw this. Indiana Jones new indie film reportedly coming late 2018.
There are rumors.
Yeah, I mean, there's rumors also that Chris Pratt might be in it.
And I'm telling you, given the fact that the last 2 movies he's been in have been monstrous successes, it would not be. It's looking more and more like a good choice.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense. Have him be his understudy. Yeah. Don't give him some ridiculous name like Dog Face or whatever the hell they did with Shia. That whole thing with Shia LaBeouf really fell through, clearly. He's kind of gone off the deep end. He's just become a meme now. And Chris Pratt is actually humble and, a great actor. And he seems like a great guy and someone that you could tell he respects film and, being on top. Probably better than a lot of other people in Hollywood, so I could totally see, and watching all these films, when I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, damn, this is like Harrison Ford, watching like someone with charisma, and he stumbles, and he's a goofball, but he also can be a leading man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In these films, and it's kind of perfect. He balances it really well. So, that would be awesome. So, it would be nice to get because that last one, I mean, a lot of people gave it a lot of crap, the nuke the fridge and all that other stuff, and a lot of CGI. I hope they step back from that, step back from the CGI a little bit and do a little bit more practical stuff. I hope that Disney, of course with the new Star Wars, there's a lot of digital stuff, but there's also a lot of practical stuff.
Right.
I hope that they do that with, the new Indiana Jones. That let's have some more temple stuff, you know what I mean? Let's have some more, him with the torch and falling into a pit of snakes and stuff like that. And maybe stepping back away from crazy CGI stuff. I don't know. But what do you think?
It would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. It would. I know a lot of people, they have that bad taste still in their mouth. So, hopefully with the new Star Wars film, hopefully it looks like it's going to be good. Hopefully that gives them a little bit more of a, okay, we've been burned, but we were burned with Star Wars too. But we were redeemed. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. But okay. Yeah. So, you take the next one because I'm going to butcher that name.
Okay. Hang on. Yeah, let me make sure I read it right here. Ava DuVernay. It's she just directed Selma, which was fantastic.
I never saw it.
You should. It's good. It's genuinely a good movie. And
that's what I hear.
It's not just one of those that, like, sometimes during Oscar season you're like, and here's this. There's always, it seems like 2 or 3 movies that's like, I've never heard of these. I have to go watch these because they're, they say they're good, and then you watch them and you're like, wow, those are not like award-winning movies.
Right.
Selma was not one of them, thankfully. It was really good, and her direction was fantastic. And there were rumors a few months ago that she was going to direct Black Panther. Mm-hmm. And now it's starting to come out like that's pretty much a done deal.
Awesome.
And I'm all for it.
Yep, yeah. Oh, yeah. And she's going to be the first female director, right?
Yes.
For Marvel?
Yes,
that's
indeed.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'm all in for it. I trust you when it comes to movie stuff. So that's definitely one I need to check out.
Absolutely. Yeah, that should be the next one you go watch. Because consider it homework for the upcoming Marvel movies, but also because it is a good movie. And David Oyelowo, who plays Martin Luther King, the fact that he wasn't nominated for Best Actor really is a crime.
That's
good.
what I hear.
Yeah, he is really good. Yeah, you need to check that movie out. It is really good.
Right. Yeah, what was he in recently? What did I see him in?
I know this one.
He was in Interstellar, right?
Was he?
Yeah, he was the principal, I think, or the teacher that was giving him a hard time. I'm trying to think what else I saw him in.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was in Interstellar. He was also in Jack Reacher, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never saw that.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes. That's probably where you saw
it. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at his IMDb page. He's in Star Wars Rebels. No doubt. That's awesome.
Oh, is he really? Who's he playing Rebels?
Yeah, Agent Kalis.
Okay, yeah, that does nothing for me because I have no idea.
He's like the bad guy, I think.
Okay.
The one hunting them down. Or something like that. That's cool. But yeah, no, that's what I hear is that he got, he did really good in that film. So that's definitely one. When I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, this looks like it's going to be emotional. This looks like it's going to be a tearjerker. And or powerful, I guess is the right word.
Yeah, and it's you get, again, you run into some of these particularly like historical. Mm-hmm. Like not biopics in a sense, but in that same kind of vein.
Yeah.
And some of them you can tell there's an agenda. Like it's clearly bent one way or the other. This one not so much. It's like, hey, look, here's
what happened.
Here's what happened. It's dramatized. That's the word I was looking for. A dramatic retelling.
Right.
it's a dramatized version, but this is what was. And take it or leave it, but this was history, and it is really good.
Well, no doubt. It's good to see Marvel getting some really good talent. That's awesome. I see here. I saw this Independence Day Resurgence.
Yes, it finally has a title now.
Right, and did they have officially announced the cast yet?
They have like a bunch of them are back. Vivica A. Fox is back. Jeff Goldblum's back.
That's what I was waiting for, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. Will Smith will not be back because he...
Strange.
Well, he doesn't need any more money.
Yeah, but I mean, but let's be fair. The last few films he's done have not been good.
That's kind of my other point. It's like he'd rather go off and try to do things that he thinks would be good.
Yeah, that's true.
Instead of saying, hey, this was one of the movies in the 90s that made me a star, maybe I should jump back in here, if for no other reason than because this will help it make more money, which will help me make more money.
Yeah, that's true.
He's saying, no, I want to do After Earth too. I don't... God,
no,
like,
he seems to be all about, like, what movie can I do to benefit my son? Kind of thing, really.
Yeah, look how well that's working out.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't.
He used to be one of those actors where you could just, you could bet that whatever he's going to touch is going to be gold, and now not so much.
Because he's not being Will Smith anymore, and I mean I understand that all of this was 20 years ago,
right.
And he's not the same guy anymore, and maybe he shouldn't go back to being that guy, and I understand that, I do, and that makes a lot of sense. But I mean, I keep coming back to After Earth because it was just that bad.
Yeah, it really was. Is Randy Quaid in it? Just kidding, he can't be.
Well, you never know.
He's making adult movies with his wife, right?
In Canada. And while he's running from the cops, I think.
Yeah,
God, Randy, I'm telling you, man, But, hey, at least he's not boring.
Yeah, that's true.
There is at least that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was reading a thing here that was basically saying Will Smith is tired of sequels, and that's why he doesn't.
Says
really
the guy who just did Men in Black 3.
Exactly. Well, that's what he's saying. He's like, I'm kind of tired of sequels, especially science fiction films.
Yeah, well, you picked the wrong ones. That's why.
Exactly. But hey, Jeff Goldblum's back, so that's all I wanted to know.
Amen. I'm in. Done.
I'm crossing my fingers. He's in the next Jurassic Park film. That would be phenomenal, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But oh my God, imagine if they're like, "Hey Jeff, well his name's not Jeff in the movie. What is it?
No, it's not going to come to me.
Ian Malcolm, I believe.
No, you meant Jurassic Park. Yeah, I could have told you that. I thought you meant Independence Day.
Like, hey Ian, we got some issues with dinosaurs. We need your help. You've dealt with this. That would be cool. We'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah. So, and let's do the Rock one. I see here that he is doing what?
This story made me laugh really hard when I first read this, and I thought, because I saw like Rampage movie, and I'm like, wait a minute, didn't Uwe Boll do like 2 of those and couldn't get crowdfunding for a third? Like, isn't that, what are we talking about here? No, from the video game. Wait a minute, time out. The one with the King Kong and Godzilla knockoffs and the giant werewolf? That video game? Like the late 80s Midway arcade game?
I am all in. Yeah. I am all in.
They're doing a live action Rampage movie starring The Rock. And I thought, okay, because San Andreas didn't knock down enough buildings, I guess.
Yeah, hey, it did pretty good. I mean, for a destruction film or whatever, a lot of people that went and saw it, a lot of my friends were like, that was actually really good. Like, you can knock it about it's a movie about buildings falling down, but it's a fun movie about buildings falling down. So, dude, Rampage, why not? Like, it's just an excuse for a studio to go, how can we do a big monster movie? Because they're kind of in right now. And it's like, well, here's this video game franchise where you have 3 oblivious, it's a monkey, a lizard, and a wolf. Why not have The Rock just, I don't know, save the day somehow against these 3 creatures?
He's actually going to do the mocap and voiceover for all 3.
Yeah, right. No, so yeah, why not? I remember I had that for the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, World Tour. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew
Nobody
that
did. Nobody ever did.
You could eat people or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe I did and I just forgot what the point of the game was. But hey, I love The Rock. I'll be there. I'll be there that weekend to see it. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, so but yeah, and to kind of to round out the movie bit, we got big news.
We do.
Yeah, you want to take it?
I shall. We have finally found a director and a new Peter Parker.
There we go.
Tom Holland, who starred in The Impossible, and he was on Wolf Hall on BBC, is going to be the new Peter Parker. And John Watts, who only has a couple acting credits, including Clowns, and there's one with...
acting credits. Directing?
Directing. What did I say?
Acting.
Sorry, directing. Yeah, John.
Cool.
Yeah, John Watts is directing his Clowns, and there's one that's not out yet, but it's Cop Car? Yeah, that's it with Brad Pitt, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is about as obscure as you could get for director,
and I'm all for it. I love that.
Yeah. And I'm same here with Tom Holland. Now, you knew more about him than I did.
Very little.
Yeah. And see, this is what I wanted. I wanted someone that I didn't know, that when I look at his face from now on, I want to go, that's Spider-Man. Yeah. That's not the kid from Disney, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly. And I mean, he looks like he's 12.
Yeah, he looks like Peter Parker. I'm looking at his picture here on IMDb, and that looks like it could be Peter Parker.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, I'm sure that, we can only hope that Sony, and I think it was up to Sony to get the cast.
Well, they're actually bankrolling the movie. So okay. I think they kind of had final say in all of it. Right. And I think they made a good choice.
Yeah. And this is one of those, it's kind of, I usually go back, it's the Star Wars argument. Like, you want unknowns. You want people that no one's going to go into the film and go, I know that face. And now it's, this is such a big franchise that I didn't have, and to be fair, I didn't have that much issues with Andrew Garfield, but at the same time, I did at first go, oh, that's going to be the kid from the Facebook movie,
Yeah.
so but he kind of took control of the character, and he did it really well. He's by far my favorite Peter Parker, but hopefully this is good. Like we've talked about it. They're going back to being a kid, and we're not going to get the origin story. He's just going to be Spider-Man. So hey, I'm all in it. I'm glad they finally nailed someone down. We don't have to go months again with here's the top 5 people we think are going to be Spider-Man. Yeah. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, so let's get the ball rolling. Well,
actually, I want to jump back because this reminded me there was one more comic book story from this week, and it was that Marvel is doing a Miles Morales centered story.
What do you mean?
The actual, what are they calling it? Just Spider-Man, right? He's getting his own post-Secret War series, remember?
Yes. Yeah, he's getting his own series. So it's not going to be Ultimate Spider-Man anymore. It's just going to be called Spider-Man. I'm all for it.
And so am I, because I love Miles. He's a great character, and we all knew he was going to be part of the new status quo. I mean, that was a no-brainer.
Oh yeah.
But I'm glad to see it, and I'm hoping that this translates in the near future to bringing him on screen.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's one thing. Sony, when they years ago when they were talking about, we want to do spin-off films for our Spider-Man universe, and I kept thinking, Spider-Man doesn't have a lot of friends, he has a lot of enemies. And when they said, oh, they're going to have a Sinister Six movie, they'll have a Venom movie, I'm like, these are all villains. And sure, Venom is like an anti-villain. I couldn't see him really having his own film. But when it came to allies, I'm like, who would they have? Like Black Cat, maybe? But Miles would be the perfect spin-off film. Introduce him just as a kid, just for a bit in the Spider-Man movie. Maybe show his face or say his name, Easter egg, something.
Yeah.
You introduce him in one of the the main Spider-Man line, and then bam, give him his own story afterwards. And these films are years between each other, so it's not going to be, he'll be the kid who's playing Peter Parker is going to look older in 5 years from now,
Oh yeah,
so
totally.
he'll be the perfect kind of age to be mentoring a younger Spider-Man, and he can be like, his, he will be his ally, not sidekick, but his ally in, this whole Spider-Man world that Sony's trying to do. And of course, now that it's connected with Marvel, he could easily be in a Marvel film where, you don't know what Spider-Man you're going to get, so they have to do it. The Miles Morales' story is one of the best in the last, I'd say, 20 years in comics. One of the best new original characters that they've introduced. It's just been nothing but solid story, thanks to Brian Michael Bendis. He's been knocking it out. So I'm excited, just as much as you are, man. I can't wait for it.
So that's going to be good. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that about sums it up for our movie, TV, video games. We'll get into comics. Let's see what we've been kind of a few weeks off, so we don't have to nail every comic, just ones that we've read, that we've kind of remember. Now, I don't know which ones were in the last few weeks off the top of my head. I know we did. Let's just talk about, I guess, Old Man Logan. They came out with the second one. That was kind of the big one,
yeah,
the big takeaway for the last few weeks for me. What did you think of it?
I loved it. Like this, I'm looking more and more forward to this series every week. Like,
oh yeah,
especially now where they've dropped him, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. And in his head he's like, wait and he believes that he's killed all of his, and I guess, okay, we should say we're going to be getting into some spoiler territory for comics, so yeah, just so you know.
Go read the original Old Man Logan run, not just because it has my name in it, but because it's an awesome story. It's a fantastic, like, kind of what if story.
Totally. And I guess I won't get too spoiler with it, but the place they dropped him in is fascinating because, like, he's just like, everything that he believes in his head that he's done is all turned, like, it's just like, no, oh, by the way, they're here, and the person they leave off on the last page.
Yeah, man, holy crap.
Yeah, that's gonna be good, and we've seen that, somehow, some way, Old Man Logan is brought into the Marvel universe moving forward after Secret Wars. So this is so cool. We're gonna have a veteran, Wolverine that is smart, and he's not as, I'm just gonna kill everything around me. It's like, no, take your time. I don't know. Yeah, it just seems much more, I don't know the right word, not mature, but of course he's older, but he's just he's wiser. And I think that's super important. I think that's super interesting. If that's the Wolverine we have moving forward, awesome. It was a way for them to kind of age Wolverine a little bit because, of course, they couldn't really, with the healing factor. So this is a way of making him a little bit older and, And also, I've been reading Wolverines.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think you're the only one.
Yeah, no, it's actually really good. I was surprised. I tried to read a few of them before. I wasn't into it, but then when I found out that they're actually, I don't want to give too much away. I mean, I know you're probably not going to read it, but they actually they go to bring back the Wolverine that we all know.
Right, yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And not just like, and it's a comic book way, of course, but it's not like a clone or something like that. It's like the Wolverine that died. They bring him back. And I didn't find out how they're doing it or how it comes about or how it ends. But I hear it ends very interesting, especially because of what happened in Secret Wars. So we might actually have two Wolverines running around in after post. I don't know. I have
Plus
no idea.
X-23 in the yellow outfit.
Wolverine. Exactly. So when they bring him, who knows? I have no idea. It just made me intrigued, and I thought, okay, all right, I guess I'll go back and read this Wolverine series. But I heard it was actually really good, especially for one that was like every week or something like that. that it actually was interesting. So I don't know. But yeah. So what else came out? Let's see here. What did you read? The Armor Wars?
I didn't. No.
No, I didn't. I think I read parts of it. What about like?
I know there's one more. Oh, Thor's. I read Thor's.
How was that?
Thor's is good. Thor's is very much a cop drama.
Okay. That's what I figured.
Yeah, it's totally a cop drama. They just happen to all be like Thor's, you know. And it's interesting like that. But this may be interesting because it deals. We have, without getting into details, what you have is they catch a case that is it's a serial killer who has a very specific type.
Okay.
And that's their victim. And so they have, but it's not just like, oh, it's this, it's that. It's ridiculously specific. And so you have Thor, who and I love the joke, they call you Ultimate Thor, and it made me laugh because it is Ultimate Thor.
Oh, wow, okay.
And it's him and Beta Ray Bill are partners.
Okay.
And so they work together on this case, and it's, what do they call it? An all thing is what they call it, which is like, if you guys don't solve this, Doom is going to get involved, and you're screwed.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's going to be intense. Like I'm actually looking forward to it because I think this is interesting. Like if you have, it was the one story that like I kind of always wanted from something like a story about the Nova Corps or the Green Lantern Corps or something that was way more procedural, but without. I don't know. It just. Any other time those had tried that, especially I know Green Lantern tried that once or twice, just that I can think of. Yeah. And like it just didn't, I don't know, it didn't seem like it worked. Like there was some kind of element missing, and I don't know what it was. But Thor's has it. Like it's gonna be good. Like I was pleased. I was very pleased.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I'm a little bit behind. Just because Witcher and everything else that's going on. Yeah, I'm a little bit behind. I gotta catch up. I gotta run to the shop tomorrow and get a lot of books that I've missed. But yeah, man, it's let's see here. What other ones did I read? Let's see here. Did you read 1602, Witch Hunter, Angela?
I did not. That was another one on my list, but I did not get around to that one.
Yeah, that one was really good. It was a lot of these. It's like they're just so different, and I like that. But they're just really different when they are. I thought this one was going to be a little bit more like the 1602 that I knew, but it's not. It's not the same characters. But I don't know if I should tease who. It's on the cover of the second one. Do you want me to tell you who they're introducing into the 1602?
Who?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Like it straight up had a raccoon. It had a guy holding a tree. Like it was just wacky.
That reminds me. There is a Groot Thor.
Oh wow,
in Thor's.
That's cool.
And it's great because he stands off to the side and he's always going, "I am Thor."
That's
and
awesome.
It's funny. It's a goofy little side gag, and it really made me laugh.
Yeah, no doubt. That's that's
Guardians
cool.
are big, man. Guardians are big.
Yeah. They're huge. Another one I wanted to read, but I didn't get around to it, was the Inhumans, Atlanta Rising 2, or Attilan. Did you read that one?
Attilan Rising 2, I did not. I didn't know that came out.
All right. Did we talk about Marvel Zombies? Zombie World?
No.
Have you read that one?
I have not.
That's one you need to read. That one was really, really good.
Okay.
And it has to do with that whole part of the world where like beyond the wall is the zombies.
Yeah, well, because Zombies versus Age of Ultron or whatever comes out this week.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is just
that would make sense.
This really just has to do with the zombies.
Okay.
And it doesn't spoil anything. It's just about someone. You see how they're suddenly placed behind the wall, and they have to survive, and there's a kid there, and there's something with the kid. I have no idea. They're either they're acting like a kid, but they're either really horribly like evil, or there's just something to them. There's no reason they should be there. And so I don't know. I can't wait to see the next one. That's definitely one you want to read. Let's see here. Another one I wanted to check out. Oh, did you read 2099 too?
No, I completely forgot about that.
Okay, yeah, you would like that one.
Yeah, I wanted to, because I like number 1.
Yeah.
God, I totally forgot that came out.
The Defenders. What about Spider-Verse?
Man, I feel really terrible now.
Yeah, there's a few you need to read.
Boy, I need to go back. I'm a terrible fanboy. Like,
yeah.
I can't believe I forgot all these. Yeah, I need to go back big time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Spider-Verse. The Deadpool and the Howling Commanders were pretty funny. As far as a Deadpool book goes, because he's like, Deadpool's in the book, but he's like a blue ghost, kind of like Obi-Wan is.
Well, because because it's not him, it's Mrs. Deadpool, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's Mrs. Deadpool, and Deadpool's dead in the book. And it's funny because he's the narrator, and he breaks the fourth wall, and he's like, "This isn't how I died. Let's just go with it. Who cares? Like, don't look too much into it." It's basically what Marvel's been trying to tell fans anyway for this series. They're like, "Don't think about it too much. Just have fun." And he's like, "This shouldn't even be really called, Miss Deadpool and the Howling Commandos. It should be like versus the Howling Commandos, because like." She's going after the, Dracula basically, and her ex-boyfriend, and the Howling Commanders is like under his command. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's funny. It's a Deadpool book. I didn't check out Ghost Racers or Inferno 2. I did hear Ghost Racers is cool. I heard Weird World is weird. Never read it though. What did you read Ultimate End to?
Yes. Yes, I did. That one, wow, yeah, that's right, because that happened. That's right, I remember now.
Yeah, and, I thought the interesting stuff was like, Peter and his aunt, and Gwen, but this is what I've come to the conclusion. That just like every other section in Secret Wars, they are completely made up, and they're not a part of the main 616 universe. Now, when I first read the first one, Ultimate End, I thought it was the 616 people and the Ultimate people. But what this little world is its own little thing. It's like, what if these two worlds had a crossover? Boom, this is their little world.
Yeah.
So none of the people, like the two Tonys, they're not the ones that, would have survived if they did. The ones that survived, I think, were the ones that we saw in that bubble.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
So this is like what if the two worlds, joined together before all the crap went down. So I'm enjoying it like that. I'm not trying to kind of look into it because I'm like, wait a second, that's not the 616 Peter Parker as much as he's saying he is. That's not the Hulk as much as he's saying is, because we saw where the 616 Peter Parker is, and he's not there. So it's this weird. I don't know. It's an interesting end to the Ultimate Universe.
It is.
Because it's like they didn't get a real. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot more to. I think there's like 5 issues of this. Eventually, this is one of the series that's getting a lot. It's going to go out for like 5 issues, kind of like Old Man Logan. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know really much else we can talk about because I haven't really. We need to catch up, and I guess we'll come back next week and talk a lot about them. I'll have it a little bit more organized for next week. What kind? I mean, there's actually not even that many Marvel coming out this week, right? I looked at their site and I didn't think it was that much. Let's see here. Like, I know 4 is not out until next month, right?
I haven't been paying a lot of attention.
Right, yeah. So for example,
what do we have this week? Yeah, let's look at this. Let's break down what's coming out this week.
Right. So they still have some side ones like Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde for some reason. Number 1, Ant-Man Large in Life, number 1, Korvac Saga, number 1, which is Secret Wars tied.
Yeah.
X-Men 92, which we read the first half, last month.
Right,
this
digitally.
Is the issue 1 and 2 combined.
Right, yeah, their whole digital to print thing. That's right, yeah.
Right. They have the Last Days of the Punisher. They have S.H.I.E.L.D. number 7, which is not a Secret Wars tie-in. Uncanny Avengers, which is not a Secret Wars tie-in. Powers, Princess Leia. There's Where the Monsters Dwell 2. There is MODOK Assassin 2. Planet Hawk 2. There is now the Uncanny X-Men number 600. That's kind of a big issue, but that's not Secret Wars tie-in. There is Infinity Gauntlet number 2, Howard the Duck number 4, which I guess is not. Maybe it's a Secret Wars one? I don't know.
No, I don't think so yet.
I don't think so either. And then there's E for Extinction, which is a Secret Wars tie-in. But yeah, there's not really that many. So I know it's because they've pushed everything.
Yeah.
Let's see here. The comics coming out. Let's see here for next week. I think next week it will be the first. Let's see here. Hold on. Yeah, let's see here. For Marvel, it is Secret Wars number 4. Yeah. So next week is when we continue the main story, which I'm looking forward to.
Oh yeah, totally.
So yeah, we'll kind of organize the comic stuff. We'll talk a little bit more next week, but let's get into a little bit of the games that we've been playing. And we've kind of already gone over Witcher, but you can actually talk a little bit more about it if you want, because you played a little bit more of it. And then we'll talk about some Batman, and then we'll get into a Jurassic World. So, is there anything you want to say about The Witcher?
Just that I know what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
This thing is huge, man.
It's
there's
good.
so much to do, and it just kind of flows from one thing into the next, and then you realize, oh wait, I'm off over here, I need to come back here, and it's crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I saw. And that was the thing, is you kind of get an idea starting at the beginning where, like, oh, I pick up this, thing off a board and it leads into this quest. And then there's a guy standing by a tree where I was doing that, and he's like, hey, you want to do this? And, all the little decisions, like I said, be careful with some of the ways you go, because for a little bit, they seem kind of like, it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, I'm still there. Like, nothing so far seems like it's really had any consequences.
You're getting there. You said you're with the Baron, the Bloody Baron. So that doesn't spoil anything. There's some major things in the Bloody Baron that you might not think is anything weird, and then all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, just save often. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And before you do anything, I would definitely save often, and save in different spots too. That's what I've done, is like I have like 3 or 4 different save spots. So just in case I make a decision that's crazy, it's like, okay, I can go back to that other one, and it's maybe an hour ago or something like that. Because like I said, there's some major stuff where you're like, oh shit, I don't want to go down this path. You go and reverse the decision. And now it's starting to do that a lot more often later on. And I'm not that far from you either. Like, what level am I? I'm like level 12 maybe? What level are you in it right now?
6, I think.
Okay,
6 or 7.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. If you do the main quest, that you start to gain levels really fast. And what I do is I kind of knock out anything that is in my quest range in an area, and then I'll start to go to question marks. If I go to the question marks and they're just way too high, then I'm like, okay, I'll continue with the story and see if they send me there. But other than that, I'm loving it. I don't really have much to say, more on The Witcher. We can talk about it more next week when I've played it a little bit more. But man, it is so good. It's kind of that game that it's definitely, so far it's my game of the year. But we have, Batman still to play. We have so much more. Fallout is probably going to be a contender. I see now. I know you're looking forward to Metal Gear Solid, but I'm not in the franchise, so it doesn't excite me at all.
Yeah,
but
fair enough.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about that, though. Like, a lot of people that I shouldn't say a lot of people. I've read some articles and stuff for people who have gotten their hands on it early, and they are in love with it. They're saying they're in love with it more than The Witcher. But then again, it's a series that they've played for years, so they're invested in it.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, okay, it's an open world Metal Gear Solid game, and I mean, it looks weird as fuck, but I guess that's the point, that Metal Gear is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a guy coming out of the bushes in his underwear and a robot behind him is normal, where I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's just another cutscene,
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure that's going to be a contender probably for you, but this is going to be the game that I kind of go back and chip a little away, and I'm doing some stuff. Because now I'm at a place in Witcher where I'm in like a major city, and so I can tell that a lot of my time is going to be spent in the city now, and I'm starting to. When you get there, it's like, I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to spoil or anything, but you get to it and you're like, this is a massive city. I'm sure there's a ton of quests, and then you start to see all the little layers of the city, from the rich to the poor, and how many different layers there are, and how everyone is on a clock, and there's just it's insane, and it's just like any other city, I guess, where you have your different levels of people, different levels of type of things to do, and it's just like, oh wow, this is also just, I don't know, it's crazy, but I'm enjoying it. Let's see here. You want to talk about any more Witcher? You want to talk about Batman?
Let's go ahead and jump into Batman. I mean, I just don't
so
really
how far are you in Batman?
Probably not terribly far.
Okay. So what, for example, what are you doing right now in it?
Right now, without being spoilery, I'm listening to the Ghost of Christmas Past lecture me in the office. Like that's the weirdest thing. Like that, I thought that was like some crazy big reveal, and especially with the way they were going with what he's got Robin doing and everything. And then you come to find out, oh no, it's just like a really demented version of a conscience following him around.
Well, maybe I'm not as far as you.
Really? Okay, then. I say no more.
Well, no, I take that back, because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm that far, but with the Robin stuff, I didn't get that. But what you're talking, I'm at the part where you're at the Ace Chemical thing, and that's all done.
Okay, yeah.
So I just left the Ace Chemical thing, and then there's some big reveals. So I got that. I got what you were talking about.
Yeah,
we're kind of on the same page.
Yeah, I'm just a little beyond that. Yeah, but I've been doing a lot of side stuff.
See, I haven't. Okay, my biggest complaint about this game is the damn tank stuff. Like, I did not want to play World of Tanks with Batman.
I love it. I love the Batmobile tank.
God,
I do.
I hate it. It's so squirrely. I'm like, the controls are like, I know that doesn't come off good in the audio podcast, but I'm just like, you go to the left and I fly off the bridge, and I'm like, what the hell?
You gotta learn finesse, man.
Yeah,
you are gonna hate the Riddler's challenges then.
No, yeah, see, I don't like any of that stuff. And then and then I'm doing, okay, so there's a part in the story where you get your suits and your upgrades, and then there's like, they drop like 5 training missions next to you, and it's like, here's the tutorial before you go into this area, make sure you do them all.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing the one where you're flying, and I'm like, this is fucking Superman 64.
Not but think about it this way.
Let's fly through rings for a minute here.
But that's
it brought back memories, and it's not what I wanted to come.
Right, but I mean, think about this. That was the AR training in Arkham City, too.
No, I know, and I needed it. I honestly did, because I'm not good at it, and I failed and failed and failed, and I was like, oh, if I do this and I do this, and okay, I get it. So it had a purpose, and I liked it at the end once I completed it. But during it, I'm like, this is the goddamn Superman 64 game all over again. I was like, they're really doing this. Like, you would think that, but I mean, you're right. They did it in the other games. It makes sense.
And I guess just to prove that Batman flies better.
Yeah, exactly. But the tank stuff, man. See, I'm doing all my upgrades. I'm doing mostly like my fighting and my armor for my body, and I didn't put anything into tank, and now I'm like, yep, now I have to. I'm starting to put it, so I have better armor in the tank because I'm like, okay, so I shoot. The thing is, I think the biggest problem I have with the tank stuff is accelerate is the same button to shoot, but you have to hold down another button, and it's not good controls.
I disagree. I think it just takes getting used to.
I guess. Here's the thing. This game does fighting beautifully. It's like a work of art when it comes to fighting.
Yeah.
But the tank stuff, I don't like car games to begin with. By the way, we should also state that I forgot to mention that Drive Club was available for 10 minutes today on PlayStation Plus for PlayStation Plus.
Really? That was it?
And then they pulled it off the store. Again, this is the second time they've done it.
Wow.
And they released a statement saying, it was a little premature. We didn't mean for it to go live right now. It's going to be going live very soon, but the servers can't handle it. So basically, when you search Driver Club, you're going to look for the full game free trial. So it's basically you get the full game if you're a PlayStation Plus member. Second, you don't have PlayStation Plus, you don't have it anymore. And it doesn't make any sense. It should just be called, Drivers Club, and with a PlayStation Plus symbol next to it, and it says free download. It's just a download. But they make it so, it says, full game demo or whatever. It's just ridiculous. Or trial. So, but yeah. So anyway, I'm not good with driving. Anytime for a while I put off Grand Theft Auto, and I'm like, but that looks so cool. It's the story missions and shooting and stuff. But then when I get the game, I realize, oh, that's right, this is a driving game, and I hate driving games. So when I get Batman, the last thing I want to do is drive around. I love flying around. I love as much as I was just harping on that training thing. It's actually fun to grapple and fly across the screen, and I like that stuff. I like the investigating stuff. I love every other aspect. But when it's like you gotta take on these tanks, and there's other things you do. One of the boss battles, I don't like that at all. So yeah, I guess the Riddler ones are gonna be, like you said, more challenging.
They're courses.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You're gonna hate that. I love it. I'm having a blast with it.
I can't do that. I like everything else about the game, but that's one thing where, if I was given a review, for me that would get a point taken away because I'm just like, that's not what I wanted at all. I don't. But granted, I'm not that far into it. I think I'm 5% in the game. I don't know. But yeah, man, I'm having fun. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you played any of the Harley Quinn things?
I haven't gone into any of the add-on content yet. No.
Okay. And have you now don't spoil it because I don't want to know.
Okay.
But I know the big mystery of the game is who is Arkham Knight.
I don't know.
I don't know either. So, do you have any theories?
Oh, I've got a dozen theories.
I think every theory that I came up with makes sense, but it's it could be anyone,
Yeah, I have, because there are two characters that haven't been discussed in this game, and those are the two I'm leaning towards. But I don't know. It could be somebody that I don't even
What do you think? I'm curious.
I think it's one of the other two Robins.
Right. Well, I thought it could have been Jason Todd.
But he's Red Hood.
Yeah, but why couldn't the Red Hood missions be before the game?
Because
I don't know if they are, but
I think because the whole thing with the Red Hood is he got over his whole, I'm crazy because I was reborn in a Lazarus pit thing. I think he's moved past that. Yeah, well, just because we haven't really heard anything about the other two Robins. I mean, the Robin we know about is Tim Drake, and you'd think we'd have heard about Nightwing or Damian by now, but I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just me reading into something too much, but we'll see. And again, it could be somebody totally different that I'm not expecting at all, but we'll see.
Right. Yeah, Damian, he hasn't even been in the series at all. I don't think he wasn't in any of the other ones. I was thinking that, has Hush been in any of them?
He was in Arkham City, but they did bring him up, like, this is who he is and what he is. It was kind of, like, hinted, so it could be him, I guess? I don't know, I hadn't thought about that.
I was thinking either Hush or, like, Bruce Wayne's brother that's been in the comics a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but briefly. And you're right, I was thinking... See, I thought it could have been Jason Todd. Now, granted, he is in his own DLC, and he is the Red Hood in it, but I thought, well, what if that was, like... I don't know where it takes place in the story, but I thought, what if, that's, like, all previous stuff, and this is him coming back? Because if you think about it, his whole, like... The way he's acting, the way this Arkham Knight person is being, he knows a lot about Batman.
True.
A lot. He knows all of his, how he works.
Yeah.
And everything he's doing is very Jason Todd-like. So that's the only reason why I said that.
It's entirely possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? But yeah, so I have no idea. This is one thing that I don't want spoiled for me. So it's one of those, like, I have to be very careful. Like, I don't go to any websites that have Arkham Knight stuff. I have to be very, because there's a lot of Facebook groups that I'm a part of that I don't go into any of the comment section until I kind of finish this game. Yeah, so, but yeah, so, is there anything else you want to talk about before we get into, Jurassic World?
Just that I'm really digging this game. It's awesome.
Me too. Yeah, it kind of came out at the best time. Now we have this in The Witcher, kind of those, like, when you get kind of tired of one, you can jump into the other things.
Totally.
Yeah, and I also picked up on a sale. I got Tomb Raider and Last of Us. So I've been enjoying
damn
those
you!
two.
You turned to my dealer. Like, you're just like, hey, this is cheap. Get this, and I'm like, okay. Hey, get this. This is cheap. Damn it. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't pass it up because it's like, I was thinking about the DLC for Arkham Knight, and I was like, why would I do that? I can get these other games. I can get 3 games for that price, and oh god, yeah. So I've been doing that, and but yeah, man, it's been so much fun, and it's nice to kind of have a little bit of library where I can jump between them if I want an action game, or if I want a big, thick story. I know I'm going to have a few hours. I can jump into The Witcher. So, yeah. All right, man. Well, let's get into the Jurassic World. Let's finish this up. What are your impressions of it?
I loved it. That was just awesome. I know, like, the first part of it kind of dragged, but I think it's worth it. Especially the end. Just awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, everything about the film I loved. The characters were a little weak. I liked Chris Pratt's character the best. And, by the way, this is going to be spoiler alert, so we're going to be talking about, so I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. So come back and listen to the rest next time. So you got your warning. But yeah, I mean, Chris Pratt's character was the kids were, it didn't have it's not going to... I've kind of been saying this since I saw it. It's never going to be as good as the original because it can't. That was just Spielberg knocked it out of the park. But this was as true as a sequel, I think, as it's ever going to get. And that was the characters. That's the only thing that was missing that was different from the first one. I thought is that it didn't have the Ian Malcolm and the Dr. Grant and stuff like that. It needed those. It had Chris Pratt, which was fantastic. And moving forward, I definitely want to see him in the next one. Somehow they got to get him back on the island or involved with it somehow. But I thought it was pandering to fans, but I loved it. You know what I mean? Like I loved. How much fan service it did. There's little things like, for example, I don't know the guy's name. He was in the War Room.
Henry Wu, the geneticist.
No, not Henry Wu. Of course he's in it, and he's the main guy. He's not the main guy, but he's from the main movie. But what I'm saying is the guy in the War Room with the dinosaur toys on his desk.
Oh yeah.
He's the guy from New Girl. I forget his name. if you look, there's a book on his desk from Ian Malcolm, and it talks about it's whatever the title is about.
There's a woman on the tram coming into the park reading the same book.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. So I think that, hopefully, fingers crossed, we get him in the sequel, and that would be amazing. But there's so many little things throughout the park. The shirt that he's wearing, and she's like, "That's bad taste," and he's like, "I know a lot of people died, but it's vintage." And I thought the film was such. It was perfect because in the film they talk a lot about how, it's very meta. They talk about how audiences. What was thrilling to them 20 years ago is not today. In the last 10 years, they need something. They need bigger, better, more terrifying, more teeth. And it's just a play on what's going on in today's. Same thing what's going on in films. It's like what was big back then. They have to up it. They have to up the ante. And it was just as real as the film as it was outside of the film. It's like, what are we going to do? That's what the people want. As much as they want to complain, that's what they want, and that's what they did. I thought, I thought it was just so meta that the kids sitting watching this dinosaur jump up out of the water and eat a shark. They're on their phones, they're on Twitter, it's so. It's exactly what happens this day and age at theme parks and stuff. It's like the same things don't thrill people anymore, and of course all hell breaks loose and it changes everything. But little things where she was like, what do you think about the Verizon wire? Dominus Rex brought to you by Verizon Wireless, and little things like that. It's like that's exactly what it's like these days with all the advertising and stuff like that. I thought it was perfect. I thought it was good. But yeah, that was the only thing. I wish there was a little bit more practical effects for the dinosaurs. That's one thing from the original film I really liked was some of the velociraptors. There's that shot where you see the the computer screen or whatever against the light, or when the velociraptor's walking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't have stuff like that in the new film. They didn't have those moments where it looked like they were in the space they were.
Yeah.
Instead of computer-generated images. It relied heavily on CGI, but I wish there was still some practical effects, because that's what made that whole T-Rex scene in the first film so terrifying. Was when the foot went down into the mud, it was an actual foot that was there on the screen, and same when it went into the car, and the mouth and stuff. So I kind of wish they did a little bit more of that, but for what it was, I thought it was fantastic.
Here.
Yeah, and the whole end scene, there was this kid in the theater, and he goes, "Oh my God, they're teaming up!" I was just like, yes, because that's what I thought in my head. Yes, and then of course the big guy from the first film. I loved that. The T-Rex came with the it only went with the flares. And,
yeah, that was such a cool callback.
Oh yeah, there's so many cool callbacks in
this. And here's an interesting bit of trivia. Yeah. That's the same Rex.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
I loved it.
You could see the scars on the side of him where the raptors, clawed him up and stuff. And yeah, so that's that. I thought that was awesome. And it totally leaves it open with you said Henry Wu was his name?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, where he takes off in the helicopter and he's like, what about Plan B or whatever, or Project B? So, it's going to be interesting to see what direction it goes in.
Oh my God, the thing has made money, just money on top of money.
Oh yeah, I even saw that it is projected and it could beat out Avatar, if people still continue to go see it.
Well, because what comes out in the next couple weeks?
Terminator. Yeah, but I'm not that excited about Terminator at all.
I am, just because of how they're changing the direction.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things about that trailer. They spoiled like a big twist that I thought would be a big twist in the movie.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm so lost when it comes to the Terminator franchise. I couldn't tell you who's good or who's bad or what the plot is anymore. That's the thing with Jurassic World. You don't need to know anything. It's just dinosaurs on an island, and it's the park, and it's open, and that's it. It's all you need to know. With Terminator, is Arnold? He was good, right? He's still good.
And then well, yeah, because like he was bad, and then he was good, and he stayed good, and like I don't know.
Are we in the future? Are we in the past? Are we
Yes.
in? Because didn't we already see the end of the world?
And then we saw past it, and now this is the thing with time travel, and I like how that's why this is going the way it's going, because they're like, if you keep screwing with time travel, everything gets messed up, and so now they're going back and they're rewriting everything again.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
it's I don't know. It loses me. I guess I'm not that into the Terminator franchise. I thought Terminator 2 was great. All the rest to me were throwaway films at best. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. Moving forward, Chris Pratt is signed on for another one. He jokingly said he thinks he's signed on for like 3 million more. But they struck gold with him. He's perfect for it. There's not much else to say. I thought the dinosaur stuff was cool. They have to, it's just like in the movie, they have to kind of invent new ways to thrill you with these creatures. And I loved the raptor stuff. I was so afraid that was going to be so cheesy and bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was some of my favorite stuff of the whole film, with Blue and stuff. And but yeah, I thought it was good. But anything else you want to say about it?
I think we pretty well covered it.
Yeah. So yeah, we got, I'm probably gonna go see Terminator this weekend. I don't know about you. I'm definitely going to the film, the movies. I just don't know which one. It's probably gonna be Terminator. I got a lot of stuff coming up this week though. Like I gotta go to the dentist. I got a promotion at work, so I'm going to be celebrating that this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, I'm going to be a little busy, but we'll have comics, we'll have movies, we'll have news to talk about. I'll at least probably have Terminator, even though I just kind of was downer on it, to talk about next week. But yeah, of course, you want to go to our Facebook page, We Geek Podcast. Go to our Twitter. It's at We Geek Podcast, and our email is wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. Send us an email. We'll talk about it on the show. And, yeah, man, play some Arkham Knight, play some Skyrim, and anything else, Logan?
And The Witcher.
And what did I say?
Skyrim.
Jesus Christ, okay. It's late. We're going to bed. All right, good night, Captain.
Captain. Captain. Captain. Captain. Captain.